Good afternoon, folks. How you doing? Welcome back to the channel. I hope you've been keeping well. And welcome back to a small portion of the games. Again, I'd love to have it all on show all the time, but this room isn't laid out that way. It just isn't feasible. But anyway, I was in Germany over the weekend. You'll probably be seeing this on... It'll be Wednesday when this goes live. So I was there from Friday. I got back Monday morning, which to me is yesterday. So I picked up some games before I left Germany. I had some delivered, should have been delivered while I was in Germany, and then I had some delivered when I got back, and I picked up games out there as well. But if you ever want to go to Stuttgart, if you're into cars, go to the Porsche Museum, go to the Mercedes Museum. They're very cheap. Tickets for each Porsche is €12, Mercedes is €16. And trust me, it's worth every penny. If you like cars and you've never been, just go and check. Fantastic. But anyway, you're here for games, I'm sure. So before I went away on the Friday, on the Thursday even, I'll get my days right. I picked up Hyrule Warriors for the Wii U. I don't really play many Zelda games, so I don't know much about it. Take the seat out, but there you go. You can see the discs in there, and it's even got like the Club Nintendo thing and the instructions for the Wiimotes and all that stuff. But for £6, and bearing in mind I am kind of attempting a full Wii U set, it seems silly not to. They had a couple of other games, but I decided to leave them, and it's a good job I did because I needed the money for other things in the end. I bought some nice things from the Porsche and Mercedes museums, and I'm glad I had the money to do that instead. So there was that. From a charity shop, I also picked up Driver San Francisco on the PS3 Essentials. It's got the right disc. They put a bit of sellotape over it, so I sort of had to pry it open and I saw the red and went, yep, done. And that was like £3, £3. That was really cheap. So I was happy to grab that because it's one I did want in the collection. So I'll put those over there. We'll jump around a bit, but today I picked up Saints Row 4. Could be the complete edition, but I have noticed it's only got the standard disc. It does have the code. I seem to remember on the Xbox you had the disc with both on, but this you have the code, so I'm hoping it still works. If not, I'm probably going to take it back because that's what I bought it for. But it's still one I'm happy to add to the collection. So I've got that. These I ordered off of Amazon. They were about £4 or £5-ish each, but the only downside of the seller in question, I mean, they get them out to you fairly quickly. Credit to them for that. It's Momox, I think they're called. If you ever see them on Amazon and you search PS3 Essentials, Momox. I had some that I ordered from SC Wholesale, but even though the listing and the picture says Essentials, every time I've ordered from them, I've ended up with like the normal version of the game. So I've had to send them back because I don't want the normal versions. But I ordered these 4. So we've got Assassin's Creed. These I think are all German. Ironically, they all came from Germany, you know, where I just was. But hey ho, it's fine. I expected them to be here before I got home, and they turned up yesterday as I'm recording this. So, and I only got home yesterday, so you know that's that. We got Rainbow Six Vegas 2. Again, got the correct disc. Again in what I can only presume is German. Although that one also says France on it, but hey, doesn't matter. It'll play. It's fine. They all play in English as far as I'm aware, so... keeping with the trend of Tom Clancy, we've got Tom Clancy's Hawks. Got the right disc again, that's the key thing. If they hadn't had the right disc, they would all be going back. But thankfully they do. That's all good. And then one that you don't see very often... I don't see this game very often anyway, let alone in the Essentials range, and... I don't know if this got a UK release. If you know, please do tell me. Heavenly Sword, which I believe is one of the early titles for the PS3. I have seen the normal cases, the ones we got over here, just you know, the normal PS3 cases, but they didn't have the that language that is. But they didn't have the only on PlayStation bit on the case, so I never picked it up when I was originally trying to collect all the only on PlayStation 3 games because I didn't think it was an exclusive. Turns out, as far as I can tell, it is. But maybe it was, they only got that packaging in the European market. But it doesn't matter, I've got it. It's in the collection. It was cheap. It was, yeah, like £5-6, something like that. And then I found a shop. I looked it up online. I mentioned it to my dad, and he was like, yeah, we'll go there if it's not too far out of the way or whatever. In a town called Bad Cannstatt. I'm probably butchering that, but it's in Stuttgart, basically. A couple of stops on the train outside Stuttgart Central. So, if you know Stuttgart, you know. I can't remember the name of the place. It's I'll try and put it in the comments or something, or I'll put it in the description. Quite a small shop, but he had a lot of stuff in there, and he had a lot of essentials. He also had the Yakuza Dark Souls Steelbook, but it didn't have the sleeve cover, by the way. Let me know, what do you call it? Would you... I mean, you know what I'm talking about without me having to get one off the shelf, but do you call it slip cover, do you call it a sleeve cover? Because they both did the same thing to me. But yeah, you had Yakuza Dead Souls, and the Steelbook itself was in really good condition. €50, which is a good price, considering the main game, which, actually, you know what, I will grab this off the shelf. Obviously, I do have this, and I, at the time, paid £75 for this. I think it's about 80 now. Last time I checked, it was about £8. But I wanted that Steelbook, and if it had the sleeve cover, I probably would have bought it, but then that would have been a big chunk out of my spending money for the holiday, so I didn't want to churn through it all on the first day, especially because, I mean, if you want to see it, I'll post it on somewhere. I bought an AMG polo top from Mercedes, and I bought some trainers from Porsche. I don't usually buy trainers, but very often anyway. You know, I try and make them last. But they were really nice, and the trainers were €85, which I think is a good price, bearing in mind where you're buying it from. But anyway, this shop, it was Wilhelmig. No, I don't know what the name is. Yeah, I'll post a link to it in the description. I mean, if you ever do end up going to Stuttgart, do go and check it out. It's not a particularly hard place to find. Just use Google Maps, go to Bad Cannstatt, you'll find it. You will. Especially if you go on the train, it's right round the corner from the station. But anyway, he had Sports Champions 2. The case is damaged, probably see there, but it's got the right disc. So, the thing is, I don't care. It had £4.90 on it, but he charged me €4 each for these because he just took £20 off of me. €20 off me, sorry. Payday 2, again, labelled up at £4.90, but he didn't charge me that. Yeah, Payday 2, again, got the right disc. You know, if I check these now and find out the wrong disc, I'll be livid. Also got Just Cause 2, again, £4.90. He had it up for. Got the right disc, so that's always a good thing. Oh, there we go. That's the name of the shop. If you ever go to Stuttgart, if that's something you're ever looking to do, just go there. He's got a lot of stuff in there. I didn't get time to look at all of it, unfortunately, but it's not a huge shop. You would have time to get around it. It's just I didn't want to leave my dad stood outside for hours on end. Up next, we've got Sniper Ghost Warrior, and again, right disc in it. Oh yeah, all the writing on the disc is all in English, like where it says Essentials, the best of PlayStation 3, that's all on there. It's just the text on the back that's in, well, I'm going to assume German. And then finally, Dragon's Dogma Dark Arisen. These are ones that went well. Anyway, these are ones that I've never really seen in the UK. So I'm curious to know if anyone else has ever seen them out in the wild. Especially that one, because it's got like the PG thing on it, and all the writing on it is in English. So I'm curious to know what people think of that. And you know, are you collecting PS3 Essentials? Are you aiming for a full set? Are you just giving yourself a limit on them? Probably the smartest thing to do, to be honest. I mean, FIFA 17, I've accepted I'm probably never going to find. And there are a lot of PS3 Essentials. It's somewhere close to 200, I believe. And currently, as we stand, I've probably got around 50-ish. I have got another one on the way from Amazon. That's due in the next week or so. I think it's an Assassin's Creed game, but I can't remember. But that's my stack of Essentials games to be added. Obviously, honourable mentions for these two as well. So they will get inducted into the collection. And yeah, that's just a nice little stack of games to add to the pile. And really, not an expensive haul. All of that has probably cost me £40-ish. Which, when you consider there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 games, right? £4 a game. And how often do you see any of these? It's now getting to the point though where I'm like, if I ever go back to Stuttgart, I'm going to go back and get more. And I will go to that shop again. And I will try and find other shops and pick up other things. But I genuinely didn't have a lot of space in my bag. That was the only downside. If I could go and do a night, get there early in the morning, spend the day in Stuttgart, do the Porsche Museum again, because it is fantastic. And as far as I'm aware, they change the exhibits quite often. So I could go back in like a year's time, let's say, and most of it could be different. Even if it wasn't, I don't care. I think it's fantastic. It's a real passion of mine. Doing all that sort of stuff with my dad. I don't get to see my dad as often as I'd like, and that's not a cry for help or anything. That's just explaining the situation. We live, 160 odd miles apart, so I can only see him when I get the chance. But to have that time with him, that was more important. But I was like, I just need to scratch that itch. And I'm curious to know, do you do that when you go on holiday? Are you desperate to scratch that itch, literally? Can you live without finding games for a weekend? I could have lived, to be honest. If we hadn't had time to go there, it wouldn't have been the end of the world. But I'm kind of glad I did, because, I came away with 5 games and they didn't cost me much at all. €20 is £17, I think. 17 or 18 pounds. It's not a lot of money, really, in the grand scheme of things. Bearing in mind, I spent £85 on a pair of shoes. So, yeah, I've had a great weekend. I'm absolutely exhausted still. And I'm back to work. Well, as you're seeing this, the day this goes live, I'll have been back at work. And I'm really not looking forward to it. But anyway, thank you all for watching. I hope you enjoyed. Please be sure to like, comment, subscribe, do all that stuff. And I will see you on the next one, whenever that may be.